Let's talk about the next match. It is a big one. We got Sting and Matt Morgan, and it's mostly going to be Morgan beating on Sting. Of course, at the end, we know Sting's going to get the win in 8 minutes and 59. He's going to use an enziguri and then put Morgan in the Scorpion Deathlock. Morgan's going to power out like it's nothing. It's supposed to be a big spot, but it doesn't seem to really register with the crowd. Morgan's going to miss another charge in the corner. Sting uses the death drop off the middle rope, and that gets it done. Star and 3/4. Matt Morgan is one of those great what ifs to me. I know that Jim Cornette was really high on him. I mean, the guy looks like a superstar. He can talk. He's giant. He can wrestle. He's super likable. He's personable. I'm not saying he's the strongest promo in the world, but I just thought, man, there's enough here that even if we need to put a mouthpiece with him, this guy can be a megastar. But it feels like for whatever reason, fans just never really got behind him. Can you put your finger on that as to why? Maybe
I can't, other than back to our set of circumstances of timing. He was never made. He was made a priority, not the priority. And I think for a 6'10" guy, you gotta have a lot of focus. They're not just physically, they're not just another guy. So from a creative perspective, if you treat them like just another guy, they're super easy. I say this respectfully because in the creative rooms I've been in, you end up saying, "Oh shit, they're lost in the shuffle," and that just happens. Not by anything they did wrong; it just happens.
And it may have been because even in this match, there's a pretty significant, I don't like the word, but the internet calls it a botch. We've got Matt Morgan setting Sting up for what he called the Hellevator, and Sting was going to reverse it into a Scorpion Death Drop, and it was supposed to be a near fall. So it's not the finish, but when he hits it right there, reversing that Hellevator, you would think, oh, that's the finish. But they both fall in the process. So it doesn't happen the way it's supposed to. And I get that would just take the crowd out of it. But as you said a minute ago, timing's everything. You have a few of those things happen, and maybe fans start to lose a little bit of confidence, and it takes them out of you. I mean, it ruins the tempo of the match, if nothing else. And now you got to work to get them back, right, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, I think something happened over this weekend with Drew and Damian. The timing of, and I don't like the word either, botches, but mishaps. That just through the years, I mean, the most famous one is Shockmaster. It's like the presentation of a new character and the build up. That could not have come at a worse time for the Shockmaster. Now, there's varying degrees because that was his debut, but yeah, the timing of your botches, God bless all of us. We hope they're not at a quote unquote
critical point. Yeah.
Critical point.
Well, and here's the thing about the reason I don't like the word botch. It's supposed to be a real fight.
Yes.
Now, I know that we all know what it is, but like in a real fight, nothing ever looks smooth. It's not supposed to look like Cirque du Soleil. Like, go watch a UFC, and when guys are trying to pull things off, sometimes they just stumble and fall because that's what a real fight looks like. But when we see it in wrestling, we're like, oh, that's a botch. And it's like, you want choreography? You want synchronized swimming? I mean,
are you sure you're not playing the role of JArrett today? Because I have heard him raise his voice respectfully in the dressing room about, oh my God, I just screwed that spot up and this and that. My dad would just, in his controlled way, kind of lose it. Like, what the F are you talking about? You're the problem that you think that, no, you didn't. You just missed. Now, I hate the heel, like, because there was a spot. What was that guy's name? It doesn't matter. They did whatever, tackle drop down. I'm going to hit you with 2 drop kicks. Okay. And the baby face, the young guy, the first drop kick connected, and he came up rushing, and maybe the heel was rushing him and threw a drop kick. And I mean, he missed. And the other heel season didn't go down. He just kind of brushed it off, and they kept going with the spot. Well, the young kid came through the curtain, was apologetic, and oh my God, I screwed that whole spot. And then they were like, no, you didn't. It happens. It happens. That had been a bad deal if the guy would have taken a bump off of air. But those little things, like, you're right, Conrad. We call them a botch because of
we're too smart for our own good. Like, we know what it was supposed to look like, but in a real fight, if we remember what this is really supposed to be, there's no such thing as a botch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the tag team title match because, boy, this is one of my favorite. I don't know why I love this, but I do. For years and years, I used to bust our mutual friends' balls, Mr. Dave Milliken. I would ask him, always in mixed company, whenever we had a new wrestling friend with us, I would say, "Hey, man, in your opinion, who's the greatest tag team of all time and why is it the Dudley Boys?" Because Dave was not a big ECW guy. So he was like, I don't get how they're the best tag team. They're not better than the Midnights. They're not better than the Rock and Rolls. They're not better than Arn and Tully. And he'd rattle off a list. And it would always tickle me. So I would just keep doing it. Who's the best tag team of all time and why is it the Dudley Boys? But I love their act. I love their characters. I thought their matches were fun. And I get if you're watching at home and you weren't really an ECW guy, you might not have been into it. But if you were in the building and you experienced it live, it's fun. And so was Beer Money. And that's what we got here. These guys got plenty of time, 16 minutes and 55 seconds. And they're pushing really hard on the program that Team 3D was flying in from Osaka. They had a 4-hour layover in Tokyo before flying straight into Detroit. And they're saying that over and over and over. Of course, maybe if you're paying attention, you know that's some foreshadowing. Beer Money become the tag team champs. 16 minutes and 55 seconds. Fans are loving this. They're chanting, "We want tables" right away. What did you think? I mean, I know there's some shenanigans. We got Rob Terry and we got Doug Williams and all that jazz, but it's a 3.25 star match. And Meltzer would say it was a good match, but nothing compared to their match in Philadelphia. But Beer Money and Team 3D, that's about as good as it's going to get for tag team wrestling here in '09. No?
And you just said the best tag team, and it was no secret that they had their ECW run and
Yes.
they had their WWF run. And James Storm had been with America's Most Wanted, Chris Harris, a partner. And so he had been a single guy. Bobby Roode had been Team Canada. So, and both were homegrown guys and they had kind of moved along. Then Bobby went out on his singer's career and James was on his singer's career. And we were just, things organically fell into place and the cowboy and the rich Canadian and everything. And when we put them together and that common slang term, Beer Money, just kind of the magic happened. And the TNA faithful fans, they wanted to believe that's their guys and know they're the best tag team. So those guys, in a lot of ways, had a built-in kind of program. And look, Bubba at this time and Devon, they were hard charging and were proud and they were legit New Japan tag champs. And so they brought an international flair. They had chemistry. All four guys would bust their ass. They were hungry. They were selfish in the right way on getting their stuff over. It was one of the best, I think, kind of box office attraction tag feuds that the company ever had.